Greetings, Planeswalkers, and welcome to the Great Foundations Build-Off.
No, this is official now, Jimmy. It's official.
We're gonna...
Welcome back to the Great Foundations Build-Off. We challenged 8 Magic creators to each make a standard deck with some unusual restrictions. Let's see how they brew.
Okay, so I checked the envelope. We got chaos.
I got the theme. Let's go look at the cards. Believe it or not, this is calculated and controlled chaos as I drop cards. I opened the brand new Niv Mizzet Visionary. This card is a 6-mana 5/5 where I get no maximum hand size, and whenever a source of mine deals non-combat damage, I get to draw that many cards. So this will be just a sweet dragon deck. You know who's more chaos than dragons? It's the dragons of the land. Dinosaurs. I got 2 Atalis in here. One of them's even a cool full art. So this is pure chaos. If it gets to stick, I get to swing, maybe exile something off the top of the deck. I mean, need I say more? It's going to exile off my deck and my opponent's deck. I mean, this is going to be pretty fun.
Crim's Let Chaos Reign deck contains a whopping 140 cards of random spell effects and creature types. With Omniscience and Gutter Snipe included, he'll be pinging opponents to death when he isn't distracting them with other targets.
Okay, so my deck is starting to come together and I'm really excited. I've got some piles, and this pile here is the one that hurts the most because I love these cards, but I just can't run them in the deck. These would be perfect in a typical Merfolk deck. I even couldn't resist. I put the Brineborn Cutthroat there. I know it's a Merfolk, but it's going aside for another deck. That's all I can say. Down here, however, I've got a lot of really good maybe cards that I'm still considering. I think there might be a home for them. In fact, I know Overrun is going in. We're definitely in Simic, and Overrun is going to allow me to, once I've got my aggro board, not be stalled out at all. I cast this, pump my creatures, give them trample, and, you know, an octopus with trample, a Leviathan with trample, it makes sense. Gonna roll right over my opponent's defenses.
The Professor's Merfolk, but not really, deck contains creature types of land, sea, and air, but a lot of otters. Eluge, the Shoreless Sea, and Tolarian Terror will drown out any opposition in its path.
Fortunately, in Standard right now, there are a lot of really, really, really good demons. So, the first one that comes to mind is Archfiend of the Dross, which is like just seeing a lot of competitive Standard play, but just play in Standard in general. Unholy Annex and Ritual Chamber, this card is absolutely fantastic in any black play strategy, demons or otherwise, but because it makes a demon and it cares about demons, easy inclusion. How are we getting things into the graveyard? Well, got a couple of ways to do that. 1, removal spells. I kill your stuff and then I take your thing from the graveyard. So let's say you play a little something and then I hit it with a Gopher Throw. Boom! I'm going to bring that back with the Abyssal Harvester. I could put things in my own graveyard and bring it back with Abyssal Harvester. And a good way to do that is one of the best red cards in Standard, which is also a nightmare, scary, and that is Fear of Missing Out. So, you might ask yourself, Seth, what are you going to put in the graveyard with that thing? And well, there's a very, very, very scary moth from Duskborn that I think likes to be cheated onto the battlefield, if it can be. I think a very scary thing that can happen in a game is the old 1-2 punch that is very popular in Standard and formats right now, which is Unstoppable Slasher and Bloodletter of Alcazar. So, when you add all that together, we're looking at a red-black deck with demons, lacking devils, but it is Carnage on the court and it is pretty scary. And I think my competition is not going to want to play against me.
Cedric's Carnage on the Court deck will feature lots of spiky devils, imps, and all things Rakdos. Liliana, Dreadhorde General, and Abyssal Harvester are a slam dunk on Cedric's opponents.
Here's how my Foundations deck is shaping up so far. My colors are green and black, which is perfect because Golgari is the best guild. We don't need to argue about that. That's just objectively true. And that means I get to use this green-black uncommon called Wardens of the Cycle, which, tell me that's not a folk rock band. I'm sure that they play sort of like lute music. But the point being, they've given me a direction. Elves. And that's great, because elves are going to let me cast my Sire of Seven Deaths.
Like, look at this thing. Tell me this is not the most metal card name ever. This is definitely a band.
I'm also going to add Tyvar. I think that Tyvar would enjoy going to a concert. Honestly, I think out of all the Magic characters, I think Tyvar would probably be the most likely to be found in a mosh pit, so I feel that his natural home is in a mixtape themed deck. The only problem I'm running into is I want to put in cards that would be just, good. Like Stab. That's just good, solid removal. Stab is not a band name. I think Giant Growth would really surprise a lot of people in a list like this. Giant Growth is not a band name. Genesis Wave is a band name, and look at this beautiful shiny foil I pulled. I have to put this in my deck.
Kathleen's ultimate playlist will lull enemies into submission with a variety of creature types and abilities. Mic drop cards like Sire of the Seven Deaths and Imperious Perfect will make this deck sing.
I feel really good about my angel deck because they are angels and they fly.
I have a Lyra Dawnbringer, which is great because it gives all my other angels +1/+1 in lifelink. Another highlight of the deck is going to be Jada, Font of Hope. This is just amazing. This is gonna let me be able to tap her and play my bigger angels a lot quicker. So very excited. There will definitely be 4 of these in the deck. And oh my gosh, look at this new art. Amazing.
Taalia's Hark deck defies gravity and expectations with loads of angelic power. Even though this is the only monocolored deck in the build-off, she'll still pack a punch with cards like Lyra Dawnbringer and Youthful Valkyrie.
So I'm thinking I want to tell kind of like a story with Elftastic Park. Like I want the elves to be like the patrons of the park, and they come in and they essentially make the big dinosaurs happen by paying for their giant mana costs. And as they're enjoying these dinosaurs and marveling at them, they may die. Who knows? I cracked open the Foundation Starter Collection and I was able to find 4 Llanowar elves, which is going to be perfect for what I'm trying to do, which is cast very big dinosaurs. A couple different fight spells. There is Primal Might, which is very, very nice, and also Bushwhack. A creature I really wanted, which is Reclamation Sage, which has this very cool art, which I'm super excited about. An enchantment that will hopefully make my creatures even bigger than they already are. And one of my favorite enchantments of all time, Garrick's Uprising, which is giving everything trample. Swing, win, beat Josh Lee Kwai. That's my goal. For my own collection, I grabbed Hammer Skull, a bunch of different dinosaurs that I really like. Gwenna is going to be perfect for what I'm trying to do, which is cast big spells and draw cards. And the dinosaur of all dinosaurs, of course, Gulta. I think these elves are in for a wild ride.
Voxy's Welcome to Elftastic Park deck contains terrifying attractions to steamroll opponents to victory. Gulta, Primal Hunger, and Llanowar elves will keep fans coming back for more.
Oh, hello. Many Magic the Gathering players ask the question, what the heck is Jimmy Wong building in Standard? Well, the answer is Strixhaven Community College. This deck has to have white and blue, and it's all about going to school. So let's take a class together. As a Commander player, I'm aware of Standard, but I'm definitely no expert, so I needed a teacher's aid, and in this case, Ash Lizzle hopped in and gave me some great advice, so big thanks to her. The first thing I did was go through the starter collection and just take out anything that seemed to really match the theme. So of course, chart a course, get it? And we have cards like Think Twice, which is very fitting, I think. And look at the art on Refute, we have an actual Strixhaven teacher right here. Fortunately, there are a lot of creatures that perfectly fit the theme and belong right on campus, like the Steamcore Scholar, to help me go over the top, the Ingenious Prodigy, how fitting, and this new card from Foundations, the Mischievous Mystic, which is gonna put out a bunch of tokens and help me swing in for the win. So there you have it, the Strixhaven Community College. I give this build an A+.
Jimmy's Strixhaven Community College deck is chock full of clever blue cards that will allow him to find exactly the solutions he needs. Star pupils Zimone, Paradox Sculptor, and Chart a Course will lead this deck to victory.
Okay, so the theme that I was assigned is only one may cost, which means every individual card in my deck has to have a different casting cost. For instance, if I have something that's 1 in a green, I can't have anything else in the deck that costs exactly 1 in a green. We're the Commander channel. My deck has the word 1 in its theme, so I decided to make things even a little bit harder and to put a self-restriction on. In addition to the other restriction, I'm going to play Singleton. I'm only going to allow myself to have 1 copy of any card in my deck, including the basic lands. Now, when I was opening up the Foundations product and particularly going through the starter collection, there were some things in there that immediately caught my eye and made me think, oh, I can build a deck around this. Violent Tumor, Null Priest of Oblivion, and Zombify. What I can do is play a lot of high mana value cards and then cheat on those costs by reanimating them directly onto the battlefield from the graveyard. We're not the standard zone, we're the command zone. So I enlisted the help of someone out there in the community, Cobra Go Blue, CGB, consulted and helped me build this deck a lot. So I just want to acknowledge and thank him for helping me hopefully not make a complete train wreck of a deck here. And if I do, then it's clearly his fault and not mine.
Josh's only 1 may cost deck contains multitudes of unique cards with copy and recursion techniques. With so much variety to choose from, like Massacre Worm and Meteor Golem, he can't go wrong. I can't wait to see how the judges feel about our builders' decks.
Should we let them know who the judges are?
Oh, well, I certainly won't be judging. Ellie Rice is one of our game designers here at Wizards. She's also a former content creator herself, so she knows what's going on. And she's definitely bringing the vibes to this operation.
Paired with Ellie is another name many of you may already be familiar with, Blake Rasmussen. World-renowned as Muldrifter's biggest fan, host of Weekly MTG, director of communications, and definitely not the one to bring the vibes. Paired together, they will be a formidable judging duo. All right, now let's see those decks in person.
Greetings, Planeswalkers, and welcome to the Great Foundations Build-Off. Excited to have you all here. Woo! So today we're going to be testing out the builds that you brought with you. Sounds like you've put a lot of work into your decks to make them perfect for you all to play. I can't wait to see how they do in someone else's hands. Everybody, please step to the opposite side of the table you're currently standing at.
Not playing their own decks? What kind of monster would do such a thing?
Diana, it was literally you.
Well, in that case, we'll see you next time for the judging of the Great Foundations Build-Off.